Good morning, sports fans from all around the globe. I am your host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and this is your breakfast bankroll for Sunday, June 12th, 2022, the last day of the week, and what, 3-4 days away from halfway through June. We're talking July 1st, July 4th weekend. All-Star break. And then before you know it, Hall of Fame football game, and we're off and running. What a weekend it's been. Nice little bounce back finally. I bitched, whined, screamed, hollered, whatever you want to say this week for the breaks that the ECSI VIPs have gotten. Errors, wild pitches. Our friend Mr. Lucky really said, how many 3-0, 4-0 leads can we blow, especially first fives? That happens in baseball. 9 innings, 27 outs. You blow 3, 4, 5-0 leads. But in first five, when you get a 3-0 lead, 4-0 lead, you're kind of inching your way to the window. And then when the shit hits the fan, it is absolutely a real kick in the you-know-what. But a little bounce back and savior yesterday afternoon after another blown first five. We had the Rays against Minnesota first five, jump out to a 3-0 lead. We've talked about fading Chichi Gonzalez, and I'd rather see Chichi Rodriguez up there pitching versus Chichi Gonzalez. 3-0 lead at one point, 3 runs, 7 hits to the Twins, no runs, 1 hit, and then miraculously in one swing, they got 4 runs and 2 hits. And it's just, that's the week that it's been. But we come back with Phillies full game run line, get that in. And anyone that decided to jump on the Lightning plus 105 after their game 1 loss, cash that as the Lightning prevailed 2-1 last night against the Rangers. Hats off to the Rangers, a hell of a run. Bright future ahead with them. And my colleague, Rob at B2B, once the Lightning went down 2-0, grabbed some Lightning plus 750 to win the cup. So again, good eyes on him. We're sitting here plus 330, plus 335 with the Avs to win the cup. Hoping we can get a Lightning loss in the first game. Currently, Avs minus 200, Lightning plus 170. If you can get an Avs first game win, you can then get to the Avs, the Lightning probably plus right around that 320. So it'll be a 1-unit wash. Guarantee yourself plus 2, plus 3 units there. So crazy week. As you can see, my backdrop today is from Brookline, the country club where ECSI will be there live on Tuesday. We're going to check out a practice round on Tuesday before it gets all crazy. Our upcoming week will be filled with golf experts trying to confirm a time and date for Mr. Dubs Anderson, from Mr. B2B Rob from Beating the Book. Have a couple others out there, and then we'll be full-blown U.S. Open at the starting on Thursday. Obviously, our co-host today, Mr. Riley Magnuson, will add his input. I assume he's got or will have a Scotty Scheffler ticket somewhere, but we'll talk to him about that. So without further ado, let's bring in our Southside expert from the Windy City himself, the one and only Mr. Riley Magnuson. Morning, sir.
Morning, my friend. The clubhouse looks beautiful behind you over there. I'm still licking my wounds. I was here on Friday licking my wounds from Thursday's Sox game. It won't go too far into it. It's not like a broken record. I was there again yesterday. Another 4-0, 5-0 lead blown in the fifth inning, and that's all she wrote for the most part. So I'm not going to be there today. If you're interested in the White Sox, I'm not the mush in the stands today. So interesting weekend, as you've mentioned. Fun action all weekend long. Weird weekend of baseball, or weird week of baseball for a lot of people I know. So ready to get wipe some of the slate clean. I've had a rough week of baseball, and I've been solid across the board everywhere else. But baseball's kind of dictated the week a little bit for me. So ready to wipe the slate clean. Have a nice entertaining Sunday here with some golf and a little baseball here and there. But ready for a huge week, as you mentioned, with the U.S. Open. So I'm ready to dive in wherever you are, my friend.
I want to piggyback off of what you're saying, a rough week of baseball, because usually, in baseball, anything can happen. Um, Usually start to see this at the All-Star break. You really start to see which teams are contenders, which teams are waving the white flag, which teams will be buyers, which teams will be sellers at the deadline. Um, I talk about the marathon. I talk about the grinding on a day-to-day basis. I try to remain as positive as possible. I ask everyone, would you rather have a walk-off homer loss or 10-0 and just, don't have to go through what you and I have gone through this week? And it's hard for the average person, the public of the degens, to go through a week like this, because I think as you see the losses piling up, the mindset is it's going to change today. So instead of a unit, I'm going to do a unit and a half. Instead of just flats, I'm going to start adding these parlays to try to soften the blow come today. Sunday. It's Sunday. You know what Sunday is? It's called Quicksand Sunday.
Yeah.
So if you woke up today hungover, down a boatload of units, and you said, I'm going to get it all back, well, take a snapshot of what your balance is, and then send me a snapshot on Monday morning when you have another melon for a hangover and you owe the man double.
100%. It's very similar to a lot of a random gambler is very similar to any random baseball team where I'm still kind of poo-pooing my White Sox through 60 games and you still have to be optimistic. I'm still sitting here with the White Sox shirt on, or the Phillies and Braves. Obviously, you had under 500 performing seasons through 50, 60 games, and now they're 9, 10 in a row. So it could turn in an instant is kind of what I'm saying. Or on the total flip side, the Angels obviously with whatever their losing streak was, and now they're kind of starting to 2 out of 3 after that. So it's very similar to just baseball in general. It like you said, so many weird things can happen, and it seems like this is where weird things really start to happen. And as you've mentioned before, especially on Sundays, weird shit happens on Sundays in baseball, so you really got to be careful as far as avoiding that quicksand, like you said. So keeping it light today on my side of things as far as baseball is concerned. So like I said, we can head wherever you want to, my friend.
And I'm so glad you said that. Mr. Bill, if you are watching and listening today, the Braves have won 10 in a row. And
10 in a row, yes, sir.
And the Phillies now 9 in a row since Joe has left the building. So as quickly as we want to say, oh, this team sucks, next thing you know, in a blink of an eye, strange stuff happens. So.
And that's why I'm still holding out hope for the damn White Sox, because obviously I've told you that they've got the easiest schedule, so I'm still optimistic about the AL Central. But things are a little messy in Southside land so far right now.
All right, I'm going to bring up our friends at Wager Talk, wagertalk.com/free odds if you want to follow along. No, actually, let me just double check. I was going to eat some crow. I was going to say no early action. 11:35. We do have Oakland and Cleveland. Irvin versus Quantrill, who's actually pitched a little better of late. Opened up -150 overnight, now 165. I don't know if you have some early thoughts or leans there.
I haven't had too many thoughts on these early games. It does look like I think Cleveland's getting just boatloads of money on them. Pretty one-sided there. Irvin, both these guys have been big question marks. They have been pitching better as of late, I think. I guess I don't know much about Irvin the last couple of starts out. They're still kind of wild cards in my opinion, though. So, whether this was the first game and you got nothing going on, or this is piled on in the slate of 15 here at 1:00, I probably wouldn't play this one either way. So, I'm gonna see myself out of this one, and maybe if I'm sitting around, just grab some popcorn and get a little in-game live over or something like that. Who knows? But I'm staying out of this one for now.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. The last few starts, Quantrill has been pretty decent-sized favorites. Came over from San Diego, now Cleveland. It looks like he's starting to get into a little form. The only way, obviously, you could dive into this would be a first 5 minus the hook. The under-over opened at 8 is now at 8.5 across the whole board. If you wanted to get cute and try a Guardians, full game minus the 1.5, fine, but way too big a tax to start the day.
Right. A lot of these games I have been, oddly enough, going to extra innings. A lot of them have been low scoring and then going over in the extra innings. So, maybe these low scoring games you would think early in the day, not quite as much energy. Maybe they go under, but yeah, like I said, I've got no strong opinions on this one, so we can move on from this one.
All right, the board is yours, my friend. Fire away.
Alrighty, so one of the other ones I was looking at, Arizona and Philly. Not super strong thoughts on this one. We're both not totals guy. We both claim to not be totals guys. Phil's minus 210 or so. Maybe it's dropping a little bit. Ranger Suarez, Kyle Nelson. I think, if I'm not mistaken, that Kyle Nelson means that's going to be a bullpen day for Arizona. Wind is blowing out, is what I saw on my wind tracker over there, and that's why you're seeing, I think, a 9.5 over/under total. Anything you like aside on this one, or would you play that win factor, or is that more of a storyline and not really anything that's going to have much of an impact here?
You know what? Suarez has been okay for us. Again, an opening number of 225 overnight at Circa. It's dropped down to 179. I see 180 at Westgate and South Point. Again, the only way I personally could get involved in this would be a Phillies first 5 minus the hook. They were good to us minus the 1.5 yesterday, 4-0 shutout there. With a total of 9.5. Listen, what scares me the most, obviously, with the Phillies is their back end. There's no Zach Wheeler. There's no Nola going here. I don't know how far Suarez is going to take them. They danced out of a few late inning skirmishes yesterday to hold on to that shutout. I think the streak continues. I just don't know how. As these games progress, yesterday I saw a lot of minus a half, minus 180, minus 185. I saw a minus 200 yesterday. You can't get in there. And they're keeping it harder and harder for us to get in there. You got to even get more creative. Maybe you start digging into team totals. As this progresses, it's just Vegas getting, I don't want to say sharper and sharper, but they are. And they're making it harder and harder on guys like us.
No, I agree, and I think the one thing to give any type of optimism about the Phillies and Suarez today, like I said, if the wind is blowing out, if I'm wrong about that. But if the wind is blowing out, like I said, he is more of a ground ball pitcher as opposed to a fly ball pitcher. So maybe you have some optimism that he's going to keep the ball in the yard as opposed to whatever we see on the other side from the bullpen of Arizona. So we can move on from that one. Cubs and Yankees was up next. We've got Yankees laying a pretty hefty tax there. Obviously, Keegan Thompson and Talion there. I could see both of these guys having a bounce back. I'm not sure what your thoughts on this one are. Not super strong thoughts once again. I know, just being here in the Windy City, a lot of these Cubs fans really like this Thompson guy. Rough start last time out, though, for his worst start of the season. He's been pretty damn solid outside of that. Is that you think that's continuing today, or do you think he bounced back, or, maybe the other side as well with a bounce back start in Talion?
I don't want to say I'm going to eat crow here. There's certain games and teams you're not going to get in front of right now. Again, if you weren't invited to the wedding, don't expect us to go to the funeral. You got a Yankees team right now, 43-16, 27 games over 500. I think they hit 6 solo shots yesterday.
Oh, really? I didn't see it.
Yeah, and Aaron Judge is just leading the way. And for everyone that's, doing the duck boat parades and getting that, Judge going to go break Barry Bonds' record. Listen, I don't root bad and negativity on anyone.
Right.
Okay? Show me a season this guy has played 150, 55 games, and you want to start touting that. So I'm just saying, with such a big lead, the way this team is playing, I would expect him at some point to slow down. I can't step in front of the Yankees, and I haven't been playing the Yankees. Either the tax is way, way too high. Overnight opened at 270. They corrected line at 212 right now. Again, you're going to play Yankees first 5. You're going to play in full game minus the 1.5. I do expect bounce backs from both. I've been saying all along, Cy Talion, where, this is the kid that came up from the Pirates that was supposed to be the next coming. Well,
right.
He's been pitching sure damn lights out of late.
Right. And I'll just say, I guess my lean out of this one would actually be an under out of this one. The Cubs offense has not been very good. I guess what would really scare me and why it's a lean is just, maybe Thompson's got a couple bad starts in him before he bounces back, and this Yankees offense can obviously, take care of an over pretty quick themselves. So that would be my lean out of this one personally, would be an under in this one.
I like where your eyes are there.
Okay. Toronto and Detroit, next one. Kind of interested in this one. This one, I'm trying to look for a price on this one. Toronto actually about minus 125 or so. Stripling and Skubal. Series is split. I believe Detroit gets the win yesterday. I really liked Skubal in general all season long. Toronto's hitting lefties really, really well right now. Is this a Detroit line, or is this a little too good to be true? And, they're trying to pull the wool over our eyes, and Toronto's going to roll them here in this one.
Scotty Webb talking about Skubal, and just he has been electric. I mean, we're talking elite in the last month, 6 weeks. They actually started to move him around earlier in the week because of rain. Then he goes in and shuts him down. An overnight number of 160, a corrected line of 121. You would expect a Jays bounce back here. It's not going to be easy. I'm not a big Stripling fan either, but that line, if you're looking for strictly value, I know people will say, Jesus, I can get Skubal, plus 111 at home. I get that. But
Right.
Take it from the fifth inning on. I'll lean Bats. I'll lean Toronto. I like the price tag with the Jays bounce back today.
I mentioned that's our heads were kind of in the same line. I mean, they've been managing Stripling pretty well as far as not letting him get through the third part of the order and kind of yanking him. Even if that's through 3 innings, they yank him pretty damn early. They've got a good sense of when it's time to get him out of the game. So I'm kind of with you on that one. Wouldn't surprise me if it's just a low-scoring affair on top of it as well. So moving on to this one is interesting. Baltimore and Kansas City. Kansas City about minus 140 or so, 135. I did a little research. I believe this is the longest favorite odds for Kansas City since April the 16th, about minus 157 closing line versus Detroit all the way back 2 months ago. Are you buying this line pricing here with that with keeping that in mind, or is that a load of horse shit? And I believe you've called them the pesky Orioles, or maybe I'm getting the wrong word there. Is this accurate, or are you calling bullshit on this one?
Overnight number of 115, corrected number of 132. Overnight, the Sharp spoke. They like Kansas City and Keller. Again, as you say, you're not the hockey guy. I am not the total guy, but this screams over to me.
Yeah, correct. I mean, Kramer, I think this is his second start of the season and his third season overall, if I'm not mistaken. And he's not very good from what I've seen and looking through the numbers. And Keller's just been consistently mediocre. So, I think I'm with you on that one. Should be, not obviously not the best game on the slate. My eyes kind of lit up, and I had to go back and see if this was the biggest favorites they've been all season. But obviously, they had the one earlier in the season against Detroit. Another interesting one, next one up, Miami and Houston. Verlander at home, obviously vintage Verlander all season long, but you've got Edward Cabrera kind of taking a little, I think he's 24 years old, I don't know if taking the league by storm is the right word. He's only had 2 starts, but been very good. 12 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 6 walks, though, and 13 Ks through those 12 innings, But Colorado and home versus Washington. We seeing some regression here, or does the kid keep it rolling and put a nice third start in a row to start his season here?
Well, since the closed door meeting on Monday, this Marlins team has erupted. Correct me if I'm wrong. They haven't lost this week, correct?
I only see the last 5, but I believe it's 5 in a row at least here.
Yes. And now you got Cy Verlander on the mound, an overnight number opened to 235. It actually dropped 8 cents to 227. I think this will be a big play for the money line parlay people today.
Yep.
Houston not getting swept at home by the Marlins. They got their ace on the mound. Lay the price. An under over a 7.5. Tough to get into a run line with such a number there. Verlander has been lights out first 5 minus the hook. You can try to get creative there. The initial thought outside looking in is that the Astros won't get swept at home by the Marlins. I'm trending lightly. It's a pass for me or Marlins.
Yeah, I think so too. I honestly have to bring another one back into the fold here. I might, just because it's Sunday, a tiny, tiny little big dog parlay as far as the two that are even slightly, interesting to me as far as I could see their pitchers having a nice game right here is Miami right around plus 200 and Thompson for the Cubs at plus 200. Obviously not anything serious as far as what I'm talking about here, but maybe a little tiny little, laundry money sprinkle for me as far as a couple dogs together. But moving on to my neck of the woods, I will not be there, as I mentioned, to mush things in the fifth, sixth innings on the south side here for the Sox. Texas still series split so far. John Gray versus Michael Kopech. What I would say is if you like the White Sox, I would just stick through the first five. Kopech's been lights out through the first five, aside from, I think, one outing against Toronto when they were heating up. So I still do like the full game, actually. Liam Hendricks and Kendall Graveman did not pitch yesterday, although they probably should have, or at least one of the two. So they're pretty damn available here today. They pitched on Friday night, but they should be available here today, assuming the White Sox have the lead through five with Kopech on the mound. So would still lean to the first five for the Sox with Kopech over Gray, because the Sox bats have been hitting on top of all of that's been happening here throughout the entire season, and now we're finally just blowing games in general. So any thoughts from you as far as what I'm talking about here with Kopech and the Sox?
I think the opening number kind of smells to me just how dominant Kopech has been. We did grab him first five earlier this week. It was one of our few early cashes this week. I 145 that has dropped 3 cents to 142 is intriguing. The blow up, good job there spotting the fact that Hendricks and Graveman will be in full strength and available on Sunday. I think the actual number does smell a little to me. I think it should have been a little higher. I like where your eyes are on Kopech first five. I like the back end that you're talking about. I lean White Sox, just tread real light there.
You know, what stinks to me more is that it's a better price for the Sox in the first five than the full game. Full game is minus 154 on FanDuel. First five is minus 142, so that's even stinkier for me as far as that is concerned. So I'm glad you pointed that out, because I typically like when it's first five and full game splits like that in the opposite sense. So we'll see what happens there. Tampa and Minnesota. I think you were talking about it at the beginning of the show. Twins get the win yesterday. Springs versus Cole Sands. Not too familiar with Cole Sands, although he has not been very good. 8.49 ERA. Springs has been very good through first five innings. However, the Rays only laying minus 130. Is this more likely to be a layup for anyone interested in the Rays, or is this more likely to be a trap here with Springs versus Sands in that line?
I see an overnight number of actually a dead pick'em, 110 a piece minus. I'm seeing some numbers of 115 at Westgate, 113 at South Point for the Tampa Bay. A game yesterday on paper that they're supposed to just mop this team. We've talked about it in a while now. This Pesky's Twins, their bats are definitely heating up. Slight lean Tampa here. I expect them to bounce back. People will say Minnesota's hot. I like the price. Well, I think Vegas is a little more coy to it. I lean Tampa here in a bounce back.
Okay, I'm with you on that one. It was just a little bit with the difference between, if I didn't mention it was minus 130 on the first five lines, so a little bit steeper price for the first five there for the Twins, or excuse me, for the Rays there. I don't have any strong thoughts on it, but one of the bigger matchups, maybe the biggest matchup, bigger pitching matchups, Urias for the Dodgers versus Carlos Rodon for San Francisco. Rodon hit some skids in the middle of this stretch of the season we've been on so far, kind of figuring himself out. Not quite as sharp as he was the first month or so. Are you liking any side on this one? I've got nothing too severe for myself here.
Buehler goes on the DL. He got lit up 2 games ago, comes back. I thought it was a great spot for him. The San Francisco Giants, of course, win the first 2. And the game before was the game that we had them on Thursday, and they 4 errors later, they lose that one. So they were peeking ahead. Rondon has not been good. The mindset would be Dodgers trying to save a sweep here, divisional rivals. You're getting a nice plus 120 at circa on the Giants. I'll go off the resort here, as I'd like to say. I like the over 8. How's that sound?
Okay. I can get with that. Another interesting split. Dodgers minus 130 on the full game, about minus 120 on the first five. So should probably be pretty close to the first five. But I think both guys can get hit up here. I didn't see. So correct me if I'm wrong here. Red Sox versus Seattle. I saw still undecided for the Red Sox. You got any insights on anyone taking the mound today for the Red Sox?
No, what ended up happening is that Whitlock is now on the DL.
Yes.
So I'm assuming this was his start, and it will be an absolute bullpen game. Now, of course, everyone knows my rant here that once they moved Whitlock from the back end to rotation, he has not been that same guy. He is now on the 15-day IL. Now, rumor has it that they will not move Houck, who was that starter, back into the starting rotation.
Yeah.
Again, we were on Seattle on Friday, and of course they lose Friday but win on Saturday. We've been full fade Ray in this camp, yet Vegas has them opening up at 145, staying at 145. I'm not going to pay the tax, but I think Seattle gets it done today.
Do you like runs in this one? Maybe a little over, or are you staying away from that altogether as well?
I'd be more inclined to go Seattle minus a hook first five, Seattle full game minus the run and a half. Don't pay the tax.
Okay. Yeah, I like it. One more, and then you can fill in the cracks here for me. The Sunday night game, Mets versus Angels. We've talked about this Angels team quite a bit the last week. Taijuan Walker versus Sandoval, who I've been a fan of this season. Angels got the win on Thursday, lost Friday, win yesterday on Saturday. Mike Trout heating up 2 straight multi-hit games, and he is actually a lifetime 10 for 16 versus Taijuan Walker with 3 home runs. So potentially something to look at here. Maybe a nice Mike Trout performance. Are you buying the Angels here, starting to roll a little bit now that Madden's gone, or you like the Mets here in this spot?
You know, it's funny because you use the Jedi mind tricks here. And the fact of the matter is the Mets have been on this Sunday night game a handful of times. In come the Angels after firing Madden. Lose the first game. That's okay. We lose 14 in a row, but now starting to put the pieces together. I like the Angels here. I like them in that spot. Not a big Walker fan. It's a short price. It's a 9 over. It opened at 9 under minus 120. Now it's 9 over minus 115. I think you get a lot of runs here. And the Angels bullpen, as we know, is not solid. I can see them holding on. This has got the old 6-5 all day, but I do like the Angels to win again.
Okay. And I like whenever I see, I know you're not a prop guy, but whenever, especially on a Sunday night game, maybe a little extra entertainment, some type of throwing some Mike Trout action in there, I have to imagine he's going to stay hot here against Taijuan Walker and maybe coupling the Angels with a little Mike Trout action. So that's something you might see me doing. Any games that I missed, though? I know I skipped a couple here. Anything that you want to fill in the cracks with here on MLB?
Washington exploded yesterday. Not a big Alexander Espino guy. You know, the number that really, the one thing that really popped out in my head, and I'm a big opening number, trust the opening number, respect it. I was kind of shocked that Hudson and St. Louis opened up at 180, now up to 188 at circa 190 at Westgate and DraftKings. Ashcraft has been lights out. He's been rolling since he gets it done. No, actually, excuse me, Cardinals come back and win yesterday. That screams to me that initially the thought process would be, hey, that's a great price on Cincy. Vegas is telling me not so fast, Jeff. St. Louis rolls here. I can't pay that number, obviously, but maybe looking at a St. Louis full game minus the 1.5. I don't like doing that, guys. Why? Because you're not guaranteed the full 27 outs. You're only guaranteed 24 unless you get the walk-off 2-run, 3-run, a grand salami, maybe a St. Louis first 5. But I think Vegas is telling us Cardinals roll here.
I think so too. I mean, over under 4.5 is a little. I would like it if it was a down, at least a hook there for the Cardinals team total, because that kind of screams just Ashcraft regression. So I'm with you in some capacity. I think St. Louis's offense probably rolls after not quite yesterday. Obviously they came back, but I think it was only 5 runs. So, yeah, I think I'm with you on that one. That one was kind of interesting. I'm not, I haven't seen too much of Ashcraft, so I kind of passed by that one when I was looking this morning.
Colorado, San Diego, Marquez versus Snell. Colorado wakes up yesterday and beats up on Gore. Snell looks like he's slowly rounding into form, a number that opened at 185, now down to 171. Rockies have hit lefties real well. And Sunday's home game for Padres used to be money in the bank. They used to wear the camo uniforms. It was amazing. I lean Padres in a bounce back. Again, only way you could play it minus the hook first 5. And then also full game minus 1.5. As we speak, and don't think people don't listen to us, guys. Paul Goldschmidt, doubtful rest. Again, on Sundays, guys, a lot of times people got their teams have their Sunday day off, getting them rest. Lots of times are off on Monday, so you're sneaking in 2 days full rest. Now, doubtful, does that mean they, giving them the full day off doesn't matter? Bases loaded, lefty pitching, bottom of the 9th. Would they wheel in Goldschmidt to pinch it? I don't know. I know as a Red Sox fan, Ortiz and some of these other guys, when you are told it's a day off, I don't care what it is. Your ass is sitting there, you're not playing, and we're going to get you ready for Tuesday. So right. Goldschmidt currently out of the roster, but I think Padres bounce back here.
I think so too, and I know you're not a Marquez guy, and I'm not saying for today, and I honestly don't know why I have any affinity towards Marquez, but he's having probably about as bad a start to the season, or maybe not start to the season, but a bad stretches he's ever had throughout his career. And I do think we're going to see some positive regression from him at some point. A little bit better last time out. But like I said, don't know why I have any affinity towards this guy, but I think you should be expecting some type of positive regression at some point from him, but not necessarily today. I'm with you on Snell and the Padres.
Shout out to the Real Fresh channel. All in today. Blue Jays, baby. Blue Jays. Thank you so much for listening. And if we love the comments, guys, so keep those coming. I usually start Sundays with this, but I'm not going to let you off the hook. We get the final round of the RBC. Get some big names out there. It was funny because of my 2 spreadsheets and algorithms, one of them was all in on Fitzpatrick, other than the chalk up top. The other sneaky one on my other algorithm was Tony Finau. And the reason I bring it up, he's tied with Rory right now at -11, JT at -9, Sam Burns a couple of weeks ago coming off a 7-stroke deficit to win on a Sunday. Will Clark, not the former San Francisco Giant, also -9 there. As we like to do, we like to bring the eyes down to that 3rd tier. Cook -7, Nose -7, Munoz 6, Kirk 6, Long 6. The Gim Reaper -6, Fitzpatrick and Mitchell -6. Fitzpatrick was funny because going into had a great round Thursday, was having a decent round on Friday. Then I think he goes double, bogey, par, bogey to close that slate, and then kind of falters again yesterday. I know when you are looking at a board this top heavy, we know Finau's resume on a Sunday. He can't close. You got Rory, JT, Burns, and again, I'm don't want to go to this, to change the script in the -7, -6s. Can you go Fitzpatrick on it? Finally gets it to get. Who do you see today if the top of the board doesn't win?
Right, and to play devil's advocate quick as to why it might not, I do think we will have a similar recipe. To play devil's advocate as far as maybe Rory, he kind of seems hell-bent on, with everything going on in LIV, to kind of make a statement. That would be to play devil's advocate, why it wouldn't happen. But I do think we could be seeing that because, like you mentioned, obviously Tony Finau, not a closer by any means on a Sunday. And I kind of like it when we haven't had this situation over the last few weeks, but I do kind of like it even more when these 2 guys are kind of neck and neck at the top of the board, kind of worried about each other when the round gets started off, not really thinking as much about the rest of the pack. And then, as half a round goes by, then, these guys kind of drop back a little bit, and obviously the pack's there. As far as Fitzpatrick, I'm a big Fitzpatrick guy just in general as far as being a good golfer. I like him a little bit more because he's kind of a grinder. He hit top 5. I'm seeing 3 plus 360 odds. I would like that type of action for him a little bit more. That doesn't sound too terrible for me. But as far as a winner, a guy you mentioned, let's see, Keith Mitchell is one that I was liking earlier this year. Would not surprise me if this guy was able to manage a really nice day and come out of this pack. I'm seeing 100-1, I think, is what I'm seeing over here on a certain app. Shane Lowry, a big name. We've kind of mentioned him a lot, and he hasn't really been that guy on Sundays to come out of the pack. There was another one that I had. Justin Rose is down here. Scotty Scheffler. There's a couple big names lurking deeper down in these packs that could go really, really low. But, one name that jumped out to me was Keith Mitchell. And what was the other one? And Harold Varner. I see 200-1 as far as guys that could jump up quite a bit. But like I said, I'm interested to see if Rory hangs on to this one. Anyone else that you liked out of this pack as far as any of the 5, 6, 7s?
No, I think we hit the board well. And what I want to tell everyone, this is usually ECSI doesn't play and dive into before or after a major. Obviously, again, where my backdrop today is the Brookline Country Club, where we will be on Tuesday for the U.S. Open. I think a lot of people that made the cut that are not in contention, I could see some big scores because they've already mailed it in. They got their check and they're already thinking U.S. Open. This week has been clouded from the LIV tour, as you brought up. And, guys, I see a lot of people on social media applauding the LIV. I mean, where can you go play 54 holes and make yourself $4 million? And right. Schwartzel just made more money in 54 holes than he did in one full year on the PGA Tour. And they were talking about a smaller guy who made $250,000 on the year. And he was having a hard time feeding his family, putting food on the table for expenses and stuff. And between his second place, I think it was finished, and his team event bonus, he made like $2.5 million. Imagine waking up with no money in the banking account, and then all of a sudden $2.5 million. You'd be like, "Holy shit! I hit the lottery!"
I know, and it's for those guys especially. It's harder to be, whatever you want to say, but it's a lot harder to be critical on guys like that as opposed to the Dustin Johnsons of the world, right? So, I'm interested to see how it plays out as far as the two competing against each other here. But I love golf. I'm not as much of a diehard golf fan as I am like football and basketball. So, there's not really enough guys that are going to draw me away from the PGA Tour of all these events and guys that I know well. So, it's going to take a while and a handful of other guys that I care about to draw me over to the LIV, because really Dustin Johnson's the only one that I had any fandom for that I'm a little bummed that he's not on the PGA Tour anymore. Everybody else I could give two shits about, if I'm being totally honest. So, not a Patrick Reed guy at all, not a Bryson DeChambeau guy. And now you've got, the reports saying that the fans love these guys or something like that. Like, give me a break, for fuck's sake. But, we'll see. Should be a hell of a day. I would not be, obviously I've got some action on these guys deeper in, but I'd love just a nice, close neck and neck finish here to the RBC before we get cracking on the U.S. Open next week.
It is comical, I guess until you're put into that situation, how money talks. If one of the top 5, top 10 guys flexed and went over there, then maybe some feathers would be ruffled. I know competition is good, okay? But just look at the names over there that have decided to go chase the bags. And someone I used to really, really love, Ricky Fowler, wearing the Puma gear, matching hat. And he was a fan favorite. And in the last couple of years, it's just so out of form. The Dustin Johnsons of the world, former number one, has a green jacket, has won majors before. But some of these other guys, I get it. But listen, don't bite and spit on the hand that has fed you, okay? Right. And these guys have given you a platform, an opportunity, not just to make a lot of money in a game that you love, to get a lot of money from these big-time corporate sponsors as well. And then as soon as the new shiny toy comes, you just go and shit on the PGA. Oh, I have a lot of qualms. I have a lot of, they're not doing this right. They're not doing this right. I'm coming over here. And listen, in a couple weeks, I'm going to say it this way, and if someone's listening, I'm going to get chastised, okay? I talk about the USFL. I'm not comparing the NFL to the USFL. I'm not comparing the Live Tour to the PGA Tour. But I am going to say this, guys. After the Super Bowl and there's no football, in comes the USFL. Go back on your timelines. The first 2 and 3 weeks, everyone's like, we got football.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, it's so great.
Right.
I haven't heard a word about the USFL in 4 bleeping weeks.
Right. And that's football. And people are rabid about football, right?
Thank God for Andrew McGinnis and the CFL. I enjoy watching that compared to the XFL and USFL. And it's funny, I was looking at the scheduled tour dates and stuff. I guess the Live tournament's coming to Boston somewhere. And you know, I have no idea where they're playing. I do know this. My ass won't be there. I will gladly go to the U.S. Open on Tuesday. I will do as much as I can, get a lot of pictures, maybe some videos, yada, yada, yada. And I don't care if the Live Tour sent me two VIP tickets. Thanks, but no thanks. Unless you want to sponsor ECSI. Now,
Hey, different story now. Bring us some of that blood money over here if you're bringing it our way, right?
Great show as always. Listen, guys, it's Sunday. It's Quicksand Sunday. And I say that for the last 7.5 years. And if I'm here another 7.5 years, I'm going to say it. You can't wake up this morning and expect to look at your bankroll, to look at your balance. And if you're down, to just snap your fingers and it's going to go away. There's a lot of landmines out there today. There are some gold mines, but I'm telling you, they're few and far between. So take a look at the action. Listen to our show. If you missed part of our show, you can go back to YouTube. You can go back to Twitch. You can replay it. You can go back to any one of your favorite platforms where you get podcasts. Download it. Actually, that's if Kiefer hits the publish button. But he might be getting ready for some college baseball. Speaking of college baseball, hats off to my UConn Huskies. I know if you didn't stay up till 2:30, 2:45, they were pounding Stanford. Stanford, bottom of the ninth, 4 homers.
13-12.
UConn holds on 13-12, 1 game away from Omaha, which would be one hell of a season for them. And so have a day, guys. Any comments, questions, concerns, you can find me at EC Sports Invest. You can find the one and only Riley Magnuson at Riley_Magnuson, the one. And always, always remember this. If you are wagering or investing today, please do it responsibly. If you do have a problem, pick up the phone. There is an 800 number available. Ask for help. Why? Myself and Riley care. We want to see you here today, tomorrow, next week, next month through 2022 and beyond. For myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Invest, from Riley Magnuson at Riley_Magnuson, the one. We wish everyone a blessed day. Enjoy Family Day. Summer's here. Get out, get the barbecue dusted off, get to the beach, get yourself ready for next Sunday, Father's Day. Whatever makes you smile, please do it. We'll take care of the dirty work back here at ECSI. Have a day, and we will see you next week.